The only one gets transmitted to the joint session on January 6th.
I'm about to show you. It's okay. It's okay.
It is okay. You're saying that 2 slates of electors are always sent to Congress. If that was true, why would Chesborough try to hand deliver to them to Mike Pence on January 6th? Okay. Okay. Criminal activity to try and stay in power, but it doesn't matter as long as they leave on January 12th.
With criminal activity?
Yes, he was indicted. He was indicted federally for this. Indicted for it.
Okay, and it's going to go away just like all those other ones, I'm sure.
Yeah. Considering the fact that the first time it
happened. Do you want a king?
A king?
Yeah.
No, we live in a democracy.
Okay.
What?
Let me cook.
We do live in a republic, but I prefer a democracy.
So, are you okay with voting for someone who tried to subvert our electoral process?
Do you know why that happened, though? Are you trying to indicate as if there was no issue or problem that ever indicated?
So let me explain something.
Use big words.
Explain something. So, are you aware that Donald Trump went to his head of the DOJ and tried to get his head of the DOJ to send a letter to Georgia saying their election was fraud? And then the head of the DOJ said, well, we haven't found any evidence of fraud, so we're not going to send that letter. And then Donald Trump tried to fire the head of his DOJ and replace it with someone that would send that letter, even though he knew that it was fraudulent because his attorney general told him so.
Right, but what happened a few months later inside of Georgia? Did they actually not find other votes that were not actually counted? If you want to actually look at towards full counting, did that or did that?
No, they didn't.
First of all, it doesn't matter what happened 3 months later.
Of course it matters. Hold on. This means that there was a present thought on the fact that that there was something that was happening, and then when he actually presumptively came out and tried to pursue that, all of a sudden now in your eyes that's a problem. But when it comes out and said that there was an actual problem, then you turn around and be like, no, that's nonchalant. We're not talking about that.
The problem isn't him contesting.
That's something different, right? That's what you want to do.
The problem isn't him contesting the results. There's a reason that a president is allowed to contest the results. That's not the problem.
That's all he did, though.
No, that's not all he did. What he did is he pressured the Department of Justice to get a state to throw out their election, even though there was no evidence to do so, and his attorney general told him exactly that.
You're talking about like presumptive case that has already been defeated, and now they want to try to bring back up again.
Do you know why that part of the indictment got removed?
Why? Explain it to me why you think it was.
It's because the Supreme Court determined that presidents are immune from those acts. It's not that he didn't do it. It's not that he didn't do it. It's that it's not admissible in court.
He's allowed to raise doubt. That's the American dream, if you want to call it.
When I said tried to pressure his DOJ to act in a way that is not normal of the DOJ to get a state to throw out their election results, does that sound like casting doubt, or does that sound like trying to put undue pressure on your Department of Justice?
Justice can't do that. That's not a justice issue.
Yeah, then why did he try to pressure his attorney general to do it?
Did he or did he not talk to the governor of Georgia?
He did. What's that have to do with anything?
Yeah, because the Department of Justice, you keep throwing out DOJ. They can't do anything anyways.
Yeah. Why did he ask his attorney general to do it, though?
I don't.
We have the letter that he was trying to get Rosen to send.
Okay.
So you're literally admitting that Donald Trump tried to pressure his DOJ to act in a way that the DOJ isn't supposed to act in. And we have all of the evidence, including testimony from Rosen, testimony from Donahue, testimony from Clark, the letter that they were trying to get to send. How is that not a problem that Donald Trump tried to get the DOJ to throw out an election?
Why are you trying to defend it?
You mean exhausting all edges and all corners of everything that he has to his disposal?
That's not to his disposal.
Try to get something to be justified, and then you want to throw that in his face and say that he did wrong.
That's just not to his disposal.
Just own it and say it was awesome that he tried to subvert the election.
That's historically not how the Department of Justice functions. That's not at the president's disposal. He doesn't have the power to pressure his attorney general to send letters to states.
Well, that's exactly what the DOJ does, though.
Not to throw out elections. No, that's not what the Department of Justice does.
Well, they've never actually encountered anything like that before. So who's to say whether or not they can or can't?
Not supposed to encounter anything like that.
The Department of Justice doesn't have the authority to tell a state to throw out their elections.
Exactly my point.
Because the states run their elections. But Trump was trying to get the federal government to determine the results of a state's election.
Yeah, because he felt that there were problems and indiscrepancies inside of our elections.
He can feel that all he wants, but
every possible outcome
in order
to get it to go through. That's what he wanted.
He can feel that all he wants, but everybody who's investigated the issue told him that wasn't the case.
And what's wrong with doing that to begin with, man? When you feel something so strong and you turn around and start asking everyone that you can in order to do everything they can in order to fix the problem, what's the problem with that?
You're asking me why it's a problem that Donald Trump went to like 3, 4, 5 different people, asked if there was fraud. They told him no, and then he tried to get the election results thrown out anyway. You asked why that's a problem?
For going alternative routes in order to try to get
not alternative routes.
Because if that was Biden, it would have been a different story is what it would have been.
He went to multiple people. They told him the election wasn't fraudulent. He tried to overturn it anyway.
You have every right in the world to question.
That's not questioning. That's trying to pressure the federal government to get a state to throw out their election. That's not questioning the election. That's trying to use federal power where it's not supposed to be used.
Dude, you're never going to win this argument. Just say it was awesome. Just say it was awesome that he tried to subvert the election.
Yeah, just say it was awesome and that it's awesome that the Supreme Court.
I keep trying to tell him anyways, man. Like, did the man try to do anything and everything he could in order to try to get his voice heard? Absolutely, man.
He had the right to, like every other president that has ever been in this fucking.
There were plenty of states. He actually wanted the delegates to go back to the states. That's what he was. And as we have learned over time that there were indiscrepancies in multiple states. They've all gone to court and they've all brought up multiple points. Every single court has turned around and said the court system is not the place to actually decide. That happened in Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and even in Georgia. So I don't really exactly understand where your true argument comes from when you look at it and say that he wanted to pull in anybody that he could to come in and argue his case for him. You're only given a certain amount of time before it's too late, correct? You got from November 5th to January 5th.
You're turning a blind eye on it because it's your man.
Absolutely. This man turned back around and actually asked everybody to turn in. He wanted to get every single voice, every single person on top of it. It took months later, even 2 years later, to come out to find out that, yes, there were indiscrepancies. So exactly what you guys are talking about, you're saying that what he did was absolute bullshit, even though it came out to be fucking true.
Not enough to change the result.
I just fucking told you. I just told you.
No, you didn't. You just said something that you
Arizona had multiple cases and multiple discrepancies in multiple scenarios.
Just to be clear,
Wisconsin Supreme Court in Wisconsin even came out and wrote a memo, and in their memo from the Supreme Court says we are not saying whether there is or there isn't discrepancies. We are in fact stating that the courtroom is no place to dictate an election. And many, many courtrooms across America during the 11 cases.
How does that find fraud? How are you saying that's a meaningful? How are you using that as an example of finding fraud?
He wanted. So you're bringing up Georgia specifically. That's what you want to throw in my face.
No, what I'm bringing up is him pressuring his attorney general to overturn Georgia's election, even though there was no evidence at the time. That's what I'm saying.
Right, no evidence at the time, but yet, like nearly 6 months later, they came out and was like, "Holy crap! Hey, look what we found. We found like 3,000 votes that were completely unaccounted for, and they fucking apologized for it. But yet you want to turn around and say that there was nothing wrong, guy.
You're talking about an election board. You're talking about an election board that has no authority to do that.
What else is CNN?
Oh my God,
I'm not getting this from CNN.
Not everybody watches. Like you,
exactly.
Real quick. The thing you're referencing is an election board that has no ability to dictate whether or not to overturn an election. The fact of the matter is
he wanted it to be stalled, man. He wanted it to be stalled. I have to give the respect to him because I'll tell you what, I saw with my own eyes a lot of the same discrepancies that were lingering around. That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted.
I saw them not doing that. So I mean there you go. But
whatever, man.
Just to be clear, there hasn't been a single thing to find outcome determinative election fraud. Trump tried to
Whatever,
subvert
man.
the
Keep wearing your
results,
blinders.
even though
Keep wearing
Trump
your
tried to
blinders,
subvert
man.
the
Keep
results,
wearing
even
your
though
blinders.
everyone, including his attorney general and his vice president, told him that the election wasn't stolen, and he tried to steal it anyway.
No, that's not what happened
Yes.
at all, sir. And in fact, if you even had if you had two eyeballs, you'd be able to read if you chose to go out with your own eyes and read some of these stories that have come out. You would have found out that many states, like I've told you, you need to
Well, it
read
seems like
into
the
Maricopa.
eyeballs
You brought up
for
what
what
you
it
brought up
is.
was saying that
Maricopa,
courts
you
can't
need to
rule on
read
it,
into
not that they found
Wisconsin
fraud.
Supreme Court, and you need to read
What you
into
found out-
Pennsylvania, and
what
you
you
also
read
need
out-
to read
what
into
you read out-
Georgia. So
what
you
you
have
what
no
you read
clue
out
what you're talking
what you-
about, man. You really don't.
what you read out doesn't even
lost.
prove what you were trying to say. What you read out said that the Supreme Court doesn't have the right to determine whether or not a state's
Correct.
election was fraudulent or
No,
not.
that's
That doesn't
correct.
say
That's
that it
correct.
was.
That's
You
correct.
lost by 7
That doesn't
million
say that
votes.
the election was fraud.
It also didn't say it wasn't.
7 million votes. You
Okay.
lost by.
But you know who did say that it wasn't fraudulent? His attorney general, everybody who investigated it, the data firm that he hired and then tried to hide the report of. Mike Pence, his own daughter, said that it wasn't stolen. They all told him that it wasn't stolen. He tried to steal the election anyway with his bullshit false electors.
Daughter.
Yeah, so don't say you
Yes.
like
The
democracy.
Attorney General job to determine that either, though.
I don't say you like democracy if you don't like Democrats.
So
Okay,
I
no,
love
that's
Democrats.
That is
Um,
I just can't
I
understand
do
how you
need-
guys can't see that the election wasn't stolen. Like, there's lots of things policy wise we can disagree on, but you guys, the election was not stolen. Trump.
don't you
just
think it would have been a
lost.
bigger story if it was?
He just
Right. So
lost,
you
guys.
know
But
what?
that one group
I'll
that
feed
tried
off
to
of that.
shut it
I'll feed
down.
off of that, guys. Can you answer me this? Can you answer me why Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and then even Florida jumped in there? And not to mention in 2022 and 2023, now when you go to vote, the machines are actually going to spit out a paper copy, where before they didn't do that. But these other seven states, these other seven
He's too
states
broke.
changed
He
their
owes money to some
legislation.
states because
You're
he
just
did some
lying.
campaigns
I'm
there
sorry.
and didn't even pay the
fucking
price
talking
for
right
it.
now.
Can you answer that?
These other
I don't think
legislations
this dude's ever
actually
voted.
changed their voting laws in order to compensate with what they felt was wrong. You tell me, the motto
Can you
inside of
define
America is
legislation for
if
me
it's
then?
not
The
broken,
Republican
you don't
ran
fix
states.
it.
The
So
Republican ran
explain to
states
me
that
why they
came
would
to
fix
Trump.
something that's not fucking broken.
You're right.
Because
Why
they-
would we
because
fix the
they're-
thing that says that the president shouldn't be able to pressure the DOJ to falsify election results? Why would Trump try
Right,
to
you
change
keep
that and
going
make it so the
back on
federal
that, man. I
government
don't
can
know. Is
change
this your-
election
Is this
results?
like what you try to use as your trigger point? Is this what
Because you haven't
sold on
addressed
to
it.
try
You
to
haven't addressed
Well,
it.
sell
You
to
said,
everybody? I don't get where you're
LOL.
coming from.
Who cares?
We already
Like,
went
you
over
haven't
this.
addressed
I
it.
asked a completely separate fucking question, and like you literally can't get your jollies off until you get the
Yeah, you
proper
didn't even
answer.
name the
Because
two
you
other
haven't
things that I
answered
asked
what
that
happened
Trump
with
did
the
that
DOJ and
personally
fucking
affected your
Georgia.
life.
Dude,
You just
get over
completely
it. I
dodged that
asked
question
you
and tried to
a
put it
completely
the blame
separate
on me.
question. Go ahead and answer
You
it.
literally
You feel
tried
like
to put it
go
on me.
ahead.
Your question
My
until
question
you
first,
answer
because
the
I
one I
already
asked.
you already asked too many damn questions. Is what it is.
I won't answer your question until you answer the one that I asked a half
I already
hour ago.
fucking answered it, guy. I
You didn't
gave you
answer
the
it.
answer. I
You
don't know
didn't
what more
answer
you
it.
want me to do.
Why are you screaming?
okay,
Like,
then why-
why
why
are you
It's ridiculous, man. This
screaming?
guy has asked the same question 5 times.
Because I'm
How
waiting
is
for an
he getting so
answer.
emotional?
Why is
Because
that
he's
okay?
not getting an
the
answer is what
that
it
you
is.
want. No, I'm sorry you don't get the
You're getting
answer.
Yeah,
you
the
emotional.
want.
answer
It's
that
okay.
you gave me is that it doesn't matter what literally everybody around Donald Trump says. He's just a god emperor that always knows what's right.
No,
But-
that's not true. I told you that in a scenario where somebody believes that something is stolen, they're going to reach
Even
out
though
to
all of his
to
intelligence
every
is-
outcome that they possibly can, every outlet they possibly can, in order
Yeah,
to
they
try to
lost
get
60
an
court
answer.
cases.
in
Even though
some way,
everybody
form, or
that knows
fashion.
anything about it tells him
That's-
that this isn't the case, he should just go off of his conscience.
Okay, so you're still fishing here? Are we still fishing on the same question?
Until you answer it, yeah.
I just answered it to you. I
Yeah,
just
the answer
answered
that
it.
you
I've
gave-
answered it 3 times, guys.
The
I'm going
answer
to
that
answer
you
it one
gave
more
was that
time. I'm
Trump
going to answer it
knows
one more
better.
time.
Make it clear
The
this
answer that
time.
you gave is that Trump
Okay.
somehow knows better than literally anybody who has anything to do with election monitoring. That
No,
he just
what I
kind of
told
knew
you was
off
the
of
fact that
his
the
psychic
man
abilities.
actually turned around and went to every outlet he possibly could because not only he, but tens of millions of American voters felt
Oh,
the same
shit.
way. Why do
So
you
what you're
think all
saying
of
is
those
that
people
even though
showed up
Donald-
on J5? Why do you
So
think all of
even
those
though
people were
Donald
there
Trump-
on the
even though
5th and the
Donald
6th of
Trump lost,
January, guy?
Even
Why
though
do you
Donald
think?
Trump lost and all of the
That's
people
right.
around him was telling him that he lost and that the election wasn't fraudulent, he still tried to subvert the results of the election. Okay, I'm glad
Okay.
I'm glad that we met there.
No, no. I'm glad you voiced it. We didn't meet or agree on anything.
That's
but,
what you just described. You just don't want to use the language that I use because you know it makes Trump and you for defending it look incredibly fucking bad.
Right, incredible.
Wait, hold on. Speaking of language, host, what do you think nonchalant means?
What?
What do you think the word nonchalant means? Because you used it a while ago, and I don't know. I want to know what you think it means.
Why does it matter what the fuck nonchalant?
Because you used it.
Like in an English class right now?
No, I just want to know if you know what it means.
Okay.
Why are you so silent?
The true
Y'all just searching
definition
it
of
up is what it
nonchalant.
is.
I mean, I use nonchalant as like no big deal. I mean, is that
That's not what nonchalant means.
okay? So what
Yeah,
exactly,
it's not really.
according to like Webster Dictionary, does nonchalant fucking mean to you? I don't understand why we're even
It was
going
like
down this
very
road, or even why
mysterious. It's not. It's like the opposite of what Trump is, basically.
So,
I don't know. I really like the way you use English.
So, host, do you think that the vice president has the unilateral ability to determine which electors are fraudulent and which ones aren't?
Dude,
All right, so
you can't say unilateral
the
with
true
this guy.
definition of nonchalant is to disregard. So what did I say? Like no big deal, right?
That's not what it means.
Nonchalant means to disregard.
That's what I just fucking said. Disregard.
Nonchalant is an adjective.
Next question.
Like it's just a slang
and
word.
And
like,
I basically said like no big deal, like disregard, no big deal, just like rub it off type deal, right? Just forget about it.
Maybe you should work on English before you get the politics.
Hey, in your walls, why don't you do this? Why don't you work on sucking these nuts and then fucking you can work on it? Good day, sir. You're at it. We're not doing English class.
OMG, why'd you kick him?
I'm not doing English class with fucking people and sitting around and listening to somebody fucking dictate. Fuck off.
So, host,
Like Trump?
Do you think that the vice president has the ability to unilaterally determine which electors are certified and which ones aren't?
Well, what a vice president can do is he can actually send delegates back to each state in order for them to be recertified. He does have that right.
Can you name one time that a vice president has ever done that? Can you name the text in the law that says that he's able to do that? Because
I guess so. If you want to give me a moment to look it up, but do you not know what the vice president is capable or incapable of doing?
I'll be super kind and save you some time, and that he doesn't. And the only thing that suggests that he does got the lawyer that wrote it disbarred for constitutional mischief. The president does not have the power to determine which electors are certified and which ones aren't, obviously. John Eastman, the person that proposed that idea, was disbarred because of how ridiculous and how dangerous that idea was. So how do you feel about that? That there's no text in the Constitution that says that the vice president can send electors back.
Is there anything that says they can't?
Hold on.
Yes, the election. In the Constitution that says. I wanted to let you know that that's not something that he could do, and Trump was pressuring him to do exactly that in violation of the Electoral Count Act. The vice president can do that goes against almost all legal precedent that built this country. And the lawyer that suggested it to Donald Trump got disbarred and indicted for offering that. So I just want to be clear, that's not something that the vice president can do, but Trump tried to pressure him to do it anyway. So that's good. If you read the Eastman memo, it's all laid out there.
So he was ill-advised?
He was fed a plot to try to get his vice president to unilaterally determine which electors are fraudulent.
Okay. Can you verify to me exactly under our Constitution what the 12th Amendment verifies?
That the president of the Senate shall, in presence of the Senate and House, open all certificates and votes shall then be counted.
And
that are you trying to point out that he's the head of the Senate?
No, and if there shall be any indiscrepancies,
go ahead.
To send them back to the states to be certified.
Do you know when he has the authority to do that?
Under the 12th Amendment.
Do you know when he has the authority to do that?
When any of them come into question.
No, not when they come into question, when he questions them, when the House and the Senate vote on whether or not to certify or decertify the electors.
Okay.
Which they voted to decertify or certify the electors, and none of the electors were decertified. So he had no right to throw them out.
No, but that's not true, though. No, but that's not true, though, because Wisconsin legislation actually wanted to decertify their electors.
And why didn't the House or the Senate vote to decertify those electors?
Why do you think?
Because they shouldn't have been decertified.
No, because first off, because it was Democrat, they didn't want to do that. So
just to be clear, no, the majority of the House, the majority of the Senate didn't want to do it, not just Democrats. And the Electoral Count Act is what lays this out. Eastman was trying to get Mike Pence to unilaterally determine which ones were certified, which ones weren't, in violation of the Electoral Count Act.
No, that's not what he wanted done.
Hey, Slayer, you're trying to come up?
No, it's not. If you read the Voting Act of 1887, just like the Democrats did in 2016, except they didn't have Senate backing, the Republicans, many in the House stood up, wanted to send them back to the states. Ted Cruz from the Senate signed on with them, but before they could actually do that, that's when they shut down, if you remember, any type of discussion because people came into the on the Capitol grounds. That's what fucking happened.
And then they came back, right?
Right, and they were too fucking scared and pussified to do anything.
Because they were too scared to what?
To send it back to the states. No one wanted to do it again.
They were too scared to vote to decertify them. That means that they weren't voted to.
But they did initially.
So,
did you not see it? Before people came onto the Capitol grounds, there were several members of the House that from their state that said, we want to send this back. And Pence said, do you have a member of the Senate to sign on with you?
That's how the electoral
and that's all you need.
Shut up. Ted Cruz stood up. Hold on. Ted Cruz stood up and said that he was signing on with them. Then all hell broke loose. They went off and they came back later that night and no one wanted to reconvene that topic. They just pushed it on through. So you tell me how it makes any fucking sense for, frankly, anyone in the Trump camp to want to interrupt that process when it was going to be sent back to the states. It makes no sense.
So, real quick, I just want to be clear that what Trump was proposing, Mike Pence do.
Oh my God. It doesn't matter what Trump proposed or not. There's a process.
I just can't believe that this guy's trying to respond to what I just said. That's so crazy. So I just want to be clear. The thing that Donald Trump was trying to get Mike Pence to do was subvert the Electoral Count Act, which is the process that you're describing right now.
No, he wasn't. He wanted it to be sent back to the states for them to be investigated.
You're aware that in a meeting with Mike Pence's legal counsel, Mike Pence, John Eastman, and Donald Trump tried to get Mike Pence to go through with what John Eastman laid out, which was subverting the Electoral Count Act.
I read the Eastman memo.
Okay, so you know that goes in violation of the Electoral Count Act.
But is that what happened? No.
That's what Trump was trying to get Mike Pence to do.
Is that what happened? Is that what would have happened if people didn't break into the Capitol?
Do you think it's...
Yeah.
Answer my question.
Do you think it's bad to suggest your vice president unilaterally determine which electors are valid?
Well, I mean, he could do that because that's why they have alternative.
Eastman got disbarred for suggesting he could.
That's why they listen. That's why every state sends in a slate of electors, not just for whoever quote unquote won, but for every single party that would have obtained votes, right? So there's a Democrat party, there's a Republican party, there's
they only transmit.
Party, there's an alternative. Okay, well, there's an alternative slate of electors.
No,
that's every single fucking state that gets sent. Oh my God, you don't.
There's an alternative. There's two slates of electors that can be certified, but the state only certifies one and only transmits one to Congress.
No, it's not just one. It's broken down. Oh my God.
That's why Chesborough was trying to hand deliver the alternative electors to Mike Pence on January 6th.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You don't know what the fuck you clearly don't. You realize that Chesborough was literally trying to hand deliver electoral certificates of ascertainment to Mike Pence on January 6th. Why would he do that?
But Rin, you do realize, Rin, that every
on the
time
certificate of ascertainment, it has all slates of electors for Democrat, for Republican, for Independent. You fucking know that, right?
Only one gets transmitted to the joint session on January 6th.
I'm about to show you. It's okay. It's okay.
It is okay. You're saying that 2 slates of electors are always sent to Congress. If that was true, why would Chesborough try to hand deliver to them to Mike Pence on January 6th? Okay. Okay, cool.
I've got this weird feeling you're wrong.
I'm getting ready to show you. Okay.
You can look it up. There's text messages of Chesborough saying,
can you fucking give me the big
why did
box
someone
real quick
open,
so I can
why
prove
did
this
someone
asshole
open the
wrong?
mail?
Oh my
You can't get
goodness,
this
why are you
stuff on
cursing for what, girl?
Because he's fucking wrong, dude.
Maybe you should just lay back your regression or
whatever.
whatever it is.
Okay, y'all
Kind
don't
of
need your
embarrassing.
listen, it gets tiresome. It gets tiresome, and like when we go over this all the time with people, and what they
what
fail
is
to.
this?
My God, the Obama phone pulled out.
See, certificate of ascertainment.
Okay, do you see? Read it.
I can't read it. The
blurry,
quality's
girl.
like 150.
Okay, there's 3 different
Mm-hmm.
slates of electors, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then shut the fuck up.
No, that doesn't prove anything. Who signed it at the bottom?
Oh my God.
Was it? No, go down to the second page.
The governor.
No, go down to the second page.
Oh, all the other fucking part.
Only the certified electors.
Oh my God, this is
Only
every
the certified
single.
electors signed the certificates.
Look.
Just because it lists all of the potential electors doesn't mean that all of them are certified.
Oh my God. Do you? Okay. Are you not listening to me at
I'm
all?
listening loud and
This
clear.
is what is fucking sent to the elections. Okay.
How the fuck would it make sense?
No, shut the fuck up. Now you're fucking pissing me off.
Oh,
That is
That's
what
what they do, man. They just try to trigger. That's why I had to kick the other guy out. Literally, guys.
That is what
If you get triggered by somebody just saying some words, I think that really shows your character.
No,
is what
because
it
he's
is.
not listening at all.
We
I'm
are
just
listening,
showing
and then
him.
y'all are just
Are
getting
you-
mad
are
and
you
fucking
denying that
screaming is
only
what it is.
Are you denying that only one of the...
I'm just going to tell y'all now that this is the people that are going to be
Okay.
voting for your future
you denying
country is
that
what
That
it
is the certificate of ascertainment for
Yep.
Georgia in 2020. I just showed you for every single party there is a slate of electors. And do you know who nominates those electors?
So
Reinhard, whatever your name is, can you tell me? Who nominates those electors?
Do you disagree that only one slate of those...
nominates those electors?
So do you disagree that only one of those 3 slates...
nominates those electors?
He's
It
not
doesn't
going to
matter.
answer questions. He just wants to talk. That's it.
Truth,
So,
you're
also,
just
sir,
letting her talk for
answer
you
the
is what it
question.
is. You
Answer
only
the
invited
question,
her
man.
just because you're
Once
losing.
during this entire time, answer the question, man.
Who
I-
nominates those electors?
It's irrelevant.
No, it's
It's
not.
wholly irrelevant. It's wholly
It's
irrelevant.
not. They are
You-
nominated by every party. They are designated by every party.
I
They
get that
can
there's
be
potential
interchanged.
electors
Oh
for
my
every
God.
party. You're explaining
They can
something
be
I already know.
interchanged. Can you just mute him?
Okay, can I say something real quick? Hold on. Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
All right. Now, you guys are arguing about electors. Do you know what the hell is going on in Colorado?
Yes, I do.
We do.
And it's
These
disgusting.
politicians are allowing these people to get their homes taken away, their apartments taken away, their apartments taken away.
Yeah. Welcome to.
Let those motherfuckers suffer over there. They wanted that. Let them have it now.
Your
And I
profile
don't think
blue.
it's the people. I
Well,
think
that's
it's.
not
I think
fair
it's.
to the
it's
Republicans that are there.
So
I
Don't say that.
I think
That's rude.
it's a blue state.
if we could go back on
There's
topic,
Republicans that live there, though, brother.
do we
Don't
real
be
quick,
rude.
do we
Well,
acknowledge
what I want to
It
say
is,
is
it is a
this.
sanctuary state.
What I'm saying is this.
You think the residents
People better
there
start
had a
arming
choice?
up. Listen, what I'm going to say. Listen to what I got to say. People better start arming up. because it's getting worse and worse. Look, I'm gonna show you a quick video, guys. If you could put me on the big screen.
No, I'm not gonna do any
Okay.
videos right now, man.
Let me. Well, are you a Democrat or a Republican?
What is the video of? Is it when they came into the apartments?
No. It's about a black guy. It's a black guy talking about.
Paul. I'm not gonna do any videos right now, man. But
just 2 seconds, just let people hear a few things he got to say. I mean, this is waking up people, bro.
I know I can listen. We can verbally speak about it. I don't have any problem with that. I'm just.
But listen, if you don't see it, the guy's showing you. He's going to tell you where to go and look at some things. He said some of the stuff you won't even be able to see on this video.
Right.
So I'm just trying to wake up people, bro, because there's a lot of people that's sleeping, bro. We got people that are dumb, plain dumb in this country, bro.
I appreciate it. I do. I appreciate it.
So, check it out.
Colorado. They're not fucking playing around.
I just told you we weren't going to show any videos, and you decided to say "f you" to me. So I'm sorry, sir, but if you want to come back up and talk about it, I don't have any problem with that.
So
I mean,
I could just completely disregard his First Amendment right.
If I could get back on topic, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, cool. To be clear, you agree that only one of the 3 sets of electors are certified, right?
Yes, but the process is they can send the slate of electors back, or they can vote on it right then and there if they really want to.
They do, and that's what happens every time. I don't know if have you ever watched the process of electors being like processed inside of the Senate Hall at all? They go down and they ask, does anybody object? And that's where it all goes down. And most of the time, yes, it comes out as nay, straight through the line, and that's what history has shown. But this one was different.
Not even just this one. In 2016, the Democrats stood up and did the same thing, except they didn't have a member of the Senate to sign on with them.
So the problem is that Donald Trump tried to get his vice president to do that unilaterally, which is not founded in the Constitution.
No, he wanted it. No, sir, come on, guy. Listen,
come on.
You were literally like, can you for once just turn back around, stop talking from your brown eye, and actually speak like with your face right now, okay? Because I'll do it real slowly. All you need to do is have a senator and the congressman from the House step up and actually voice against their electors, and then it can go back to the state, and that is what he wanted.
Electors. He tried to get the vice president to unilaterally do it. That's the problem. That's what's laid out in the Eastman memo.
So I can just sit here and talk over to you too. Like I don't get where you're coming from. Is this your major PowerPoint right now? Is this your talking point? Is this what you come into all lives and like this is what you actually?
I think it's pretty important that Donald Trump tried to unilaterally determine who is the victor of the election. Yeah.
Unilaterally, you think he unilaterally tried to when you had numerous congressmen and numerous senators that actually stood by his side and said the same thing, but he did it all alone, right?
Well, okay. Unilaterally was the wrong term there, but he did try to get Mike Pence to do it.
Hold on. Did Trump leave the White House January 20th?
He did.
Did he try to?
No, did he leave? Did he leave the White House? Okay, then shut the fuck up. Who cares?
Right.
Because I don't want somebody to try to take.
Who cares?
Oh,
you don't
okay,
know.
I didn't realize.
But then
so everybody can
blabbering nonsense.
Any president can do criminal activity to try and stay in power, but it doesn't matter as long as they leave on January 12th.
Was he charged with criminal activity?
Yes, he was indicted. He was indicted federally for this. Indicted for it.
Okay, and it's going to go away just like all those other ones, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah. Considering the fact that the first time it happened, it actually got tossed out, right?
Because he's immune, not because he didn't do it. Not because he didn't do it, because he's immune.
And now you have, and the only reason why Smith is doing this
presidential immunity.
And the only reason why Smith is doing this is because he wants to be able to pull them off of the campaign, and that's all he wants to do.
That's because he tried to steal the 2020 election.
There's absolutely nothing new in this indictment that's any different than the last indictment.
You realize, yeah, it subverted the things that were not presidential. It got rid of the things that were presidentially immune. So do you?
No. There was nothing. There was nothing in the case that wasn't presidentially immune because during the whole time of everything that happened, he was the fucking president.
You have no idea how the presidential immunity ruling works.
Okay,
that's
right.
Keep
In order for the presidential immunity to work,
eating
then
Donald Trump's
he
boots. I'm
can't
sure
be
they taste
fucking
so
president.
good.
People don't understand how that works.
I wish people
Go
were
ahead,
so
guys.
confident.
Let's move on to another subject. Maybe we can get some other people to join in and chat.
Like, Matt, do you have any?